John Kramer, Jigsaw, first and primary antagonist of the Saw video game franchise, or as the official strategy guide named him, Jonathan Kramer. Sacrilegious, I'll have nothing of it. We've audited 10 out of 10 movies, and now it's time to audit John's virtual shenanigans, as he's constantly telling us,
I want to play
video game. Hello, and welcome to Foot the Bill, where we audit your favorite media. My name is Trey, and today we're looking at, Saw the video game. Saw the video game follows the adventures of Detective Tapp, not dead, now kidnapped by Jigsawman and tasked with becoming a better cop. Along the way, Jigsaw has captured something like a little over 100 people to torment and assail Tapp, not including anyone close to Tapp that ends up in a trap. Tapp-trapped, if you will. In case you missed it, we streamed Saw the video game back in December of 2024 for charity. And we're finally done calculating all of its nonsense. If you thought auditing a Saw movie was an undertaking, may I recommend this. But first, the rules.
He's testing us. He wants us to survive this. But you have to play by the rules.
No utilities get charged for. All purchases will be calculated in the year depicted. Saw the video game takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. Man, we are really filling up Jigsaw's day calendar between those two movies. I don't know if this happens before or after Saw X, or was set up during and then played out or what, but I don't know. But we know it's taking place in the early to mid 2000s, around 2004 to 2005. Like previous Saw films, anything that can be locally sourced won't be charged for. Remember kids, if it can be scavenged out of the trash, it's not an expense, it's foraging. Our total playtime for this game was almost 12 hours, but you might have noticed that this video is not 12 hours long. In fact, depending on which version of this video you're watching, it could be 45 minutes long or 3 hours, give or take. That's because I'm cutting out a lot. It's a video game. It reuses assets. As such, I'll mention new items when they come up and price them out, and I'll talk about specific trap rooms when they become relevant. But for the most part, I'm gonna be breezing past a lot of generic hallways and rooms. If you want to watch me meticulously price every inch of the asylum, by all means, go rewatch the streams. And to the naysayers who naysay that this game isn't canon, first of all, are you allergic to fun? Get out of here. Shoo. But also, James Wan and Lee Winnell gave this game their blessing and personal touch, so as far as I'm concerned, it's fine. It's the worst that can happen. So, how much does it cost Jigsaw to rig up an entire dilapidated asylum for the benefit of giving a single cop the therapy he doesn't need? Does John convince Tapp that his life has value? Or does he lose his mind and his wallet in pursuit of his biggest trap house yet? Let's find out! The game begins where you're watching this, in the bathroom.
It's been
1 week since Saw 1, maybe. Tapp has been kidnapped. Tapp-napped? By our favorite mascot horror icon, Billy the Puppet. Billy explains that Tapp has a limited amount of time to get his reverse bear trap off or face the consequences. What are those consequences? Dire. Charge for that display bear trap in the room, but let's talk about Tapp's trap. This is a unique reverse bear trap, given that it has 2 programmed buttons to deactivate the lock. We can play around with this idea and adjust this particular bear trap to match these specs. Let's say there's some buttons to input somewhere on the trap and some lights lighting up which buttons need to be pressed. All told, we can adjust the price of this bear trap to approximately $74.50. In Tapp's pocket is a lighter, nice Zippo. On the bathroom stalls are some paint. There's also the aforementioned TV with Billy, charged for a VHS player and tape. There's also a camera in the room, that's legal, probably. And finally, a combo lock on the door. Shutting the stall doors and looking in the mirror resolves the combination lock, and we are let out into the hallway. Can you imagine tiptoeing to the bathroom in the middle of the night through this thing? Yeesh. This hallway features a door sealed with a large steel plate bolted and welded into position, and we are charging for that. We're also charging for the automatic door closing mechanism behind us. A lot of powered doors in this building. Oh ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! We're charging for the door! As well as that single bulb work light on a barrel. A TV connected to another VHS player plays a tape recording of our room. Very nice. We also overhear 2 new cellmates chatting up the situation, free as they might be, as they've also been pignapped, as well as 2 more security cameras watching nearby. Down the hall, we waltz into our second puzzle room of the night. Not aligning itself legally, behavior ordinances must be addressed. Or nail bomb. The object of the game is simple. Find a fuse to activate an electrical circuit, unlocking both doors. That's right, both doors. You've got a neighbor over yonder, and the 2 of you are sharing your living space with 6 explosive jars full of nails and shrapnel, very much like the bombs we saw in Saw 2. Aside from our neighbor, we've got 3 powered doors across 2 rooms. Is this door also sealed? It's also sealed. Put it on the bill! A TV with Billy blasting the rules at us, a big old timer, I counted 6 nail bombs, and a security camera watching the whole affair. Installing the fuse stops the timer, allowing both parties to throw the switches and safely exit the room. We're reminded that Tap has no shoes.
Are you barefoot? Oh shit, look. Getting across that glass is gonna hurt. You aren't getting my
Get those shoes. Give me your shoes. Bummer. And we move forward into the next hall. In a nearby medicine cabinet, you can find a syringe filled with, according to the strategy guide, painkillers and B vitamins, among other things. 2 more cameras lead us to a really cool sight. A victim in a Venus flytrap. He didn't make it. Another camera and we're into a new room. Another TV setup, some paint, a sealed door, a powered door behind us. We're up the ladder. Hey, Pig Mask. We're out of whatever hell we started in. And now we're into a new hell. We find out the asylum we're in is called Whitehurst. Completed construction on April 3rd, 1885. It's been downhill since. Welcome to the surgical theater. It's gross and barricaded. Some razor wire adorns the fencing around the arena, and a dead victim gives us our first candlelit microcassette recorder and tape. It's a date. We find out that the screaming lady downstairs is Amanda. She didn't do too well with her recovery and just can't get a grip on appreciating her life. We'll have to futz about a bit before we can save her, though. A set of powered doors welcomes us into the rest of the wing. Here, things get a little interesting. Well, first up, there's a baseball bat in our knees. Thanks, guy. Apparently, his game was to hit us and tell us to get ready to fight. Cool game, Jigsaw. Lesson learned. Tap grabs a pipe and whacks the pissed off guy who just burst into the room. We'll learn this as we play, but it turns out the best weapon in the game is your fists. Don't even bother with pipes or bats or legs or lamps. At least it's not a rhythm game. In the room with the guy that bashed our knees is a TV with a VHS player and tape. Billy mocks that guy for being a dope and he turns to leave the room, triggering a super awesome shotgun door trap. Ooh. Ah. By my reckoning, this trap consists of a weight, some pulleys, a length of chain, and a shotgun. This design doesn't change from door to door, so we can set that as our standard price for all shotgun door traps. And yes, they're all loaded double-barrel shotguns. Since y'all ain't from Texas, I'll charge non-Texas prices for that shotgun. In total, $285 for the shotgun door trap. Back in our little hellhole, that red room has a sealed door as well as a note that's been disseminated to all the pignacked convicts. Kill Tap, find freedom. Apparently, Jigsaw put a key inside Tap while he was tap-napping. Down the hallway, another shotgun door stymies our path forward. Bill that. A unique lock informs us about lockpicking, but we don't have a nail yet, so yeah. In another room, though, we get a flashback to having a key inserted into us. Fun. I guess Jigsaw healed us up after we were shot and replaced our bullet with a key. Cool. Not gonna charge for that heart monitor because it reappears in a little bit. Curiously, Jigsaw mentions having someone patch us up. We know there are medically inclined minions of Mr. Saw, but Gordon would still be in recovery right now, and Logan, well, there's a chance Logan might have been available. I can't speculate on this much more, but it's worth pointing out. Unless Jigsaw's lying. He might be lying. Anyway, we loot a nail and head back into the hall. A camera at the back watches us wander around for a bit before we head back to that customized lock. After fiddling around, we're through the door and into the next hallway. And further down the hall, we see an awesome display of another Jigsaw trap. in a replica of the razor wire trap from Saw 1, a bundle of razor wire fills a small room. Suspended in the middle is a victim, that's Vic, and guys, I think he's gonna pull through. At the back of his room is a big old timer reading 0 across the board. Yeah, he's definitely gonna pull through. Next door, a note on the bed describes medical malpractice, while a microcassette player and tape are chilling in a nice box. I love when lore gets cozy. The tape describes how some of Jigsaw's patients volunteer, apparently, or even create their own tests, apparently. So Jigsaw is definitely not to blame for that guy in the razor wire. Don't ask. We also get a look at the powered door that would have let Vic out had he chosen to succeed. Down the hall, an iron lung sits across from a sealed door. Further down is a single bulb work light on the ground. We finally find another bathroom, but it sprung a leak. Bummer. Another shotgun door trap stands between us and the next trap room, where a door is painted to say, "The key to survival lies within." Across from that door, we get another lore drop, this time about the shitty walls and crumbling infrastructure from a century ago. Jesus. And we're treated to a secret room with a sealed door and a fuse. Neat. Installing the fuse opens the door to what I call, oh no! Perchance everything really amounts to injuries or negligence. Or operation. Don't touch the sides.
There are 4 bodies ready to cut open. Only one contains the means to continue. But the knife may yet betray you. Choose wisely.
Like Jigsaw said, the game is simple. Inside one of these bodies is a key. Inside the other 3 bodies is, well, a living person. Pick the right body to retrieve the key. Pick the wrong body and you've murdered someone. That's so Jigsaw. In the room, aside from our 4 guests, we've also got a microcassette player and tape with instructions for the inmates. At the back of the room is a TV with a VHS player and tape ready to cheer us on for our very good job at reading names. We've also got a cabinet with one of those special locks containing a health syringe. Lucky us. A camera in the corner of the room watches us. Oh yeah, to get the key, you have to dig through razor wire. Neat. After solving the toe tag riddle, or not, what happens if I fuck with the other body? Oh, I just kill a guy. We're treated to the key to freedom, from this room in particular. We're also treated to a bird's eye view of Amanda begging for her life. Again. That's so Amanda. Outside the operation room, we're introduced to a tour guide for the next section of the game. A guy in a reverse bear trap. Oh, nope, he's dead. Never mind. Don't sneak up on us like that. You know how I lash out when I'm scared.
How about that game against Dallas when Santa came out at halftime and we threw batteries?
Out in the hall, we get another health syringe, some bandages, and interacting with an iron lung treats us to a flashback of Tap? Is this the real life? Is it just fantasy? I'll charge for the knockout we must have been treated to after playing Doctor in the asthma tube. We finally make our way to the main hallway doors, where we've got another reverse bear trap hallway monitor across from a chasm filled with rusted spikes. Cool. A camera on the wall watched the whole thing go down, and the full moon and snow remind us that this is actually a Christmas game. Aww, 'tis the season. Crossing the beam, we're greeted to death. Let's try that again. Crossing the beam, we're greeted with, my God, 9 CRTs mounted around a doorway, each hooked up to 9 players rolling 9 different tapes. Dude, at this point, Jigsaw had to have gotten a hold of some new old stock TVs from a warehouse and just bought them wholesale. You cannot convince me otherwise. Behind Tap is what I consider to just be cruel. Written on the wall in red paint is freedom, followed by a fucking prank rolling shutters. Savage. Oh, and a camera caught the whole thing. You sick bastard. Entering the hallway, we approach our first security checkpoint. These checkpoints have been repurposed by Jigsaw to act as barriers to the main centers of gameplay activity. As such, they're usually accompanied by a maze of rooms, an electrical puzzle, or a physical challenge. This security gate will require a coupler, a bridge of sorts, to solve an electrical puzzle and activate the door. Tap nabs some bandages and admires the sealed double doors at the end of the hall before ignoring that staff-only sign and entering the security station. A cutscene tells us that, yes, that circuit panel will open the door we need. We grab a nail from the file cabinet and pop a special lock to get access to another health syringe. Yoink. while a camera above blinks mockingly. In the bowels of the rooms beyond, we run into another sealed door of contemplation. The game briefly becomes Resident Evil 2, and never does that again, by the way, before arriving at another date night destination from Jiggy Sawman. Who am I? Who indeed? Inside is a weird piece of lore. So apparently there was once a patient at this institute, name redacted, who spent some time at Whitehurst in the late 90s. 34-year-old male, married 2 years, wife is 4 months pregnant. Apparently the guy is a bit of a shut-in, hyper-intelligent, great recall, and has a habit of pointing out weaknesses in others. The report goes on to suggest that the dude might be a sociopath, or at the very least, a narcissist. Neat! We'll get a few more of these as we venture deeper into the asylum. Speaking of, we survive another shotgun door trap, and I think it's time to talk about these traps. You see, shotguns require ammunition. Now, I recognize that these are double-barreled shotguns, but I'll permit John to have only loaded a single shell into each gun. Economical, if you will. As such, we've encountered enough shotguns that we will have walked past 5 shotgun shells. Now, luckily for us, you can purchase a pack of 5 shotgun shells for $7.89 in the early to mid 2000s. So every 5 shotguns, I'll charge for a pack of ammunition because, yeah, we're gonna be seeing a lot of shotguns ahead, like a cartel's worth of shotguns. Anyway, in the bathroom, we nab some bandages, yoink, and hop down the hole in the floor, clambering our way to the first floor and into the next trap room. What I like to call the murder or rage guardian of uncertain explosives, or Morgue. As we enter, a TV broadcasts a feed of Amanda getting set up for her trap. A few bloodied corpses on gurneys around the room prove that, yep, it's a morgue. A fuse in the first room hints at what we need to complete the puzzle in the adjacent room, which, yikes. Above the door, we've got a big honkin' timer strung into what I count to be 13 nail bombs. These appear to be the same make as the bombs from earlier, so easy math. On a table in the middle of the room are 2 candles and a microcassette player with a tape nestled in a very nice box. Around the room, several of the mortuary cabinets have been painted with pictures of neat little weapons. Oh, cute. Okay, Jigsaw, explain this nonsense to us.
The key to any puzzle lies in its pieces. Sometimes you have to look at a problem from a completely different perspective.
Oh, okay. Pick the right door, don't die. Pick the wrong door, die. Easy peasy. Jigsaw's hint about perspectives sends us back into the previous room where, plugging in that fuse, we're treated to a big glow-in-the-dark hint, leading us to an even bigger glow-in-the-dark gun painted on the wall. Handy dandy. Opening the correct cubby treats us to the coupler we need to progress. Huzzah! And just for fun, opening the wrong cubby treats us to... what is the root of all these problems? Clearly it's battle axe now. I think it's drugs. It was not, in fact, drugs. Kablooey. And apparently walking away with the coupler also ends in a kaboom. Having successfully not died, we can explore the secret bathroom with a strange teleportation property behind the morgue. It's here we also are given a look at one of Jigsaw's little workshops scattered throughout the complex. He's got a bunch of these set up, and they're all stocked with different supplies. At the moment, this spot has a TV, a spare pipe bomb, ammonia, paint thinner, some bandages, a baseball bat, and a big sealed door. Neat! We also take time to notice that the urinals in this asylum are too damn high, or tap is too short. Some quick Google searches on Danny Glover's height reveals that these urinals are like 5 feet off the ground. I don't know who this asylum is built for, but I suspect they might be giants. After making our way through the impossibly pitch black hallway of doom, we continue our quest to return to the security checkpoint above us. We pass 3 sealed doors, another date spot with a microcassette recorder and tape, and another sealed door. The tape is actually for the inmates, not Tap, so it's a bit invasive for us to listen, but we can tune in anyway. After spotting another sealed door, Tap hops down to kill an inmate with no desire to fight whatsoever, earning a trophy. Oh, I beat somebody to death with a bat, and I got a trophy for it. Cool. And there was nothing on his body. Why did I do that? Before finally returning with the coupler to the security gate to resolve this circuitry puzzle. These puzzles are pretty straightforward. Rotate modules to connect the batteries to the lights. Solving the puzzle permits access to the next section of the level, the offices. The offices are a bit of a slog, if I'm being honest, but that's the 9 to 5 grind for you. Past security, we've got another sealed door, typical, a Saw 11 Easter egg, ooh, and what I'm calling an upright work light. This thing was weirdly tricky to track down, and apparently they aren't cheap. I did my best to find an early to mid 2000s example, and it still came out to around $95. Another sealed door later, and we've got another shotgun door trap. Oop, let's try that again. Another sealed door later, and we've got another shotgun door trap. Bingo bongo, we're through. Take note of the single work light on the desk and enjoy the sight of a fresh dead body. If I'm being honest, I don't think this was a trap. I think this guy just died normally. Imagine walking up in a saw trap and then walking into a door frame, hitting your head and falling down a pool of blood. Embarrassing. Another sealed door and some razor wire cut our path options down to one, where we encounter a friendly gentleman with a bat. We're also introduced to the concept of blocking doors, but I'm just gonna ignore that. Another work light on a desk leads us to a Jigsaw vlog room. The powered door slams shut behind us, while a tape player sits in a nice box next to a candle on a desk. There's also a head vice trap? I'm not sure how this thing is supposed to work, but we do see more of these ahead, so it bears talking about. This thing reminds me of the surgical scaffolding braces doctors use to set bones, so I wonder if it's meant to put pressure on the skull in very specific spots to cause excruciating pain. Maybe? We can charge for the vices at least. Oh, sing. Or sing. Anyway, we leave this room and continue worming our way through the building. The door slams shut behind us and we encounter another candle, this one just for aesthetics, as well as a security camera. The corner office bears some interesting shenanigans though. This room with a view features a timer above a door, a candle, a fuse in a cabinet, a combination lock barring the exit, 6 nail bombs, 3 TVs, along with 3 VHS players and tapes. Insert the fuse, activate the TVs. They display the code to the combination lock, and Bob's your uncle, you're free and clear. Can't really call that a trap if I'm being honest. In the adjacent room is the key to the surgical theater, Amanda's trap, and a nice candle to accent the room. Ugh, this is gonna suck trekking our way back to the theater. I don't even know where to start. Oh wait, we have a chauffeur! Yeah, so Tap gets pignapped and placed conveniently in the stairwell outside the surgical theater. Charge for that sedative. We don't need to charge for these TVs again since we've already been here. That wheelchair is also locally sourced. Unlocking the doors and stepping through has us greeted by an upright work light and a candle illuminating some lore. Oh hey, they're talking about Amanda. Neat. There's a sealed door behind us, so we must walk forward through the powered door. This transitional hallway features yet another sealed door and a TV VHS tape combo through which we get another voyeuristic peek at Amanda. What a dick. The next door opens to beckon us forward, and we step into the surgical theater. No charge for the curtain lift, by the way. No matter how dramatic that is, that's pretty standard here. What isn't standard is, well, that. I call this injectable maneuver Judgment unites ignorant choices into non-negotiable games. Or juicing. The object of the trap is simple-ish. Both Amanda and Tap are secured into chairs and injected with slow-acting poisons. They each have their own antidotes, which must be sorted and administered to the correct person. If the wrong person gets the antidote, pain ensues. Enough pain, and the person in the chair dies. Then they both die, then everyone dies. The parts to operate this procedure are familiar to us. TV, VHS player, and tape give us a rundown of the rules. There's no timer to this puzzle other than the poison in our veins. Amanda's chair features pneumatic injection mechanisms from both arms and an IV bag full of her poison. Tap's chair features some gears and a pressure plate that activates the injectors into his neck, as well as an IV bag also full of poison. Now, the poisons and antidotes at play here have some telltale identifiers. Death is caused by internal hemorrhaging, or what Jigsaw calls discomfort. This reminds me of warfarin, what's used today as an anticoagulant, but started its life as rat poison. In high doses, warfarin can result in hemorrhaging and death. So it fits what we're looking for, and its treatment doesn't trigger any negative side effects. So I think what's occurring is this. Both Tap and Amanda have been injected with a high dose of warfarin. They're short on time, and the antidote process for decreasing warfarin happens in stages. Given this trap has multiple stages of antidote administration, and given the fact that warfarin is super cheap and accessible, I believe this is what we're looking at. Now, I spoke to some of my experts in the medical field, and while this isn't a perfect scenario, it's the closest we can get without doing some super deep niche chemistry. As for the machine administering these antidotes and poisons, its design is similar to a blood transfusion machine, but with some added Japanese vending machine elements. 2 heart monitors track Tap and Amanda's heart rates. Along the top of the machine are 8 vials of poison in red and antidote in blue. Pressure sensors detect when a vial has been dropped into a seesaw system of delivery. This likely uses electromagnets to detect and rotate according to the current positions into the next subsystem. Once the vial falls into place and enough are pumped into the main chamber, they're cleared and pumped into the appropriate patient. Send poison to the antidote chamber, you're gonna have a bad time. Likewise, send antidote to the poison chamber, bad time. Once enough poison and antidote have been administered to the proper chambers, the antidote is flushed into both Tap and Amanda, and the two can move on to the next round. Some lights and tubes finish out the system, and a flushing mechanism clears the chambers for the next cycle. Assuming Tap understands this f***ed up intravenous game of hopscotch, he and Amanda are freed. Yay! Amanda is super grateful to be alive, probably, and totally wants to stick around and hang out with us. The exit hallway and stairwell are packed with some familiar friends. A security camera watches over us as we exit, and heading down the stairs reveals a victim who has suffered the endgame of whatever that vice skull trap is. This version came with extra inserts along his spine, suggesting that whatever's happening to his head is also affecting his back. Posture check. Further down the staircase, we arrive at another date night scene. 4 TVs playing a bootleg Billy the Puppet flick over to security camera footage of the next Jigsaw victim we need to save. Jennings Foster! Jennings is strapped down to a table inside the Matrix, I guess. Looks like there's 3 security cameras pointed at him, with footage from one being sent to 2 TVs. A nearby microcassette player reveals the lure, a nearby health syringe gets pocketed, and the power door in front of us opens wide, inviting us into the next chapter of the game, the basement. Some floor lore tells us that the boiler sucks, and 3 TVs light up with a new angle on Jennings. A power door invites us deeper into the basement. We gotta save Jennings! Come on, Amanda! Amanda? Never mind. Amanda got pignapped. Bye, Amanda. Anyway, we grab another syringe from a desk and are immediately inundated by Jesus! 9 TVs, 9 VHS players, 9 tapes, But also, there's a guy banging on the cage door wearing a shotgun collar that just went off. Look. I know millennial fashion is making a comeback, but let's leave the popped collars at home, yeah? When we last saw a shotgun collar, it was in the future, affixed to Dr. Lin, you remember Lin, during the events of Saw 3. That collar was linked to John's heart rate as well as the proximity of the room, utilized 7 shotgun slugs for its damage, and was made with a surprising amount of fresh materials on an otherwise thrifted device. This collar appears to behave similarly, though I don't know what triggered that guy's collar to go off in the manner that it did. What exactly was his test, Jigsaw? Down the hall, Tap is invited to fish around in a barrel of acid for a key.
The key, like your life, lies in the bottom of the barrel.
How dare you? My life is not at the bottom of a barrel. Fucking ow. Damn, Jigsaw, that burns more than the acid. Ugh. Heading through the now unlocked gate sends us down an illuminated hallway. Pause for body bag. In pursuit of the boiler room and janitor's office. But what's this? A new booby trap appears. That's right. In addition to shotgun door traps, Jigsaw has also set up dozens of tripwire shotgun traps. These traps feature sawed-off shotguns and consist of a pulley, some tripwire, and the aforementioned shotgun. These are neat because we can set these up to ambush those inmates who would rather see us dead. Finally, a use for all these shotgun shells and loose wire in my pockets. Just for laughs, Jigsaw throws a shotgun door trap immediately after that tripwire, and we're through the gate deeper into the basement complex. The door to the janitor's office is sealed for the time being, so we're headed left towards the boiler room. Also, apparently we need to see the janitor about the steam. Yeah. Billy pops up to inform us that steam pipes carry steam, and steam hurts. Looks like the dead guy getting blasted by steam is a testament to that. Ugh. Turns out we need a valve to access steam. So we're ferried back to the janitor's office, which has now been unlocked. Now, unlike the Jigsaw doors, I'm inclined to believe this gate was powered and motorized prior to Jigsaw's entry here. Janitors like their privacy. Now, before we have time to debate, we've been pignapped! Again! Tap awakes in another bathroom. Really? Being watched on 3 TVs. A camera in the room records him as he wakes up. Hi! And what's this? Why, it's our very own shotgun collar. This collar comes with a special feature though. It can detect other shotgun collars in proximity, and if you spend too much time around them, you'll pop! Meanwhile, inmates with accompanying shotgun collars who are activated by TAP's presence will pop if they are within a slightly larger proximity. Oh, and the system is linked to a heart monitor, i.e. TAP's collar won't go off if the inmate is deceased. Also, get used to seeing this collar because it stays on for the rest of the game. Wahoo! Some glow-in-the-dark paint spells out the rest of the plot for us, and we fish a key out of a toilet while getting mocked by Jigsaw. Dick. That key unlocks the bathroom, and we're back in search of the janitor's office again. The hallway ahead features an upright work light, a note, one of those inmates with the proximity collars I mentioned earlier, and this is where I discovered the first time the game has a map and then proceed to never use it ever again. But there's something else! A new mechanic for us to practice our puzzle-solving skills. The Jigsaw chest. So this is neat. So, okay, first of all, it's a nice box, right? No denying that. Second, on top of the box are two gears, one spinning and the other at a standstill. The object of the puzzle is to place down gears of different sizes in those holes to create a chain that turns the unmoving gear. Doing so will unlock the box and reveal the prize inside. In this case, that prize was a shotgun shell, some tripwire, and some bandages. Upon finally reaching the janitor's labyrinthian office, a storage room to the side reveals another new feature, the Jigsaw puzzle cabinet. This operates the same way as the Jigsaw chest, but this time with an illuminated glass and metal cabinet. Neat! Currently inside is a baseball bat. After finding out that the valve is nearby, we pop into the next storage room. A dead inmate in what I assume is some sort of bladed arm trap? Sure. Oh, and there's the janitor's corner. Great. Oh, and a reverse bear trap inmate. Get him! I love that his trap goes off after we beat him to death. I just absolutely love that. Heading towards the utility room, we deftly maneuver around a tripwire shotgun trap. Down. Spot some work lights and finish drying our mannequin head. You serious? And raid the first aid kit on the wall. At the back of the hall, the exit has been chained off. Asshole. But that's not our destination anyway. We're after that valve, remember? Along the way, we're introduced to the concept of electrocuting people with electricity. Shocking. And we're quickly tasked with putting it to use. After reading a letter from James Sunderland to his wife, we pass a TV with a message from Jigsaw and nab the valve. Oh, and 2 inmates are released towards us. Cool. All right, let's speed through this. Grab syringe, dispatch inmates, spot that other inmate in a work light, followed by a TV with Billy, except it's gross knockoff Billy. You. Seriously, you. Don't underlight Billy like that. You. Search that work table for a syringe and a shotgun shell, grab that fuse, pick that lock, grab that other shotgun shell, take note of the deactivated tripwire shotgun trap, and electrocute the inmate in the shotgun collar. Good job, Tap. The corpse rewards us with another health hypo, and a locked door secures 2 health hypos. Passing a reinforced door, we can grab yet another syringe, there's a lot of health down here, and another shotgun shell. At the end of the hall, Jigsaw directs us where we need to go. Down. An upright work light greets us as we meander into the haunted house portion of Captain Spaulding's roadside stop. Yeah, that guy's gonna die down there. We pass by a TV system, but we'll get back to that. Right now, Tap has to pick a custom lock and gain access to yet another health syringe. Cool. Doubling back, we pass through the power door into a mini trap room that operates as a doormat to the next section, so A timer flickers to life, and our exit seals as 3 nail bombs in the room become slightly more dangerous. Dodging the shotgun door trap. Oh, nope. Well, charge for another shotgun trap there. Ow. Let's try that again, as I was saying. Dodging the shotgun door trap, there we go, gives us access to the coupler we need to solve the circuit puzzle. We ace that because we're a certified electrician licensed to practice in the state of Massachusetts, and we finally loop back around to the barrel of acid where we burned our hand. Retracing our steps, we use the valve stowed in our fanny pack to shut off the steam and continue on our way through John Kramer's HH Home Depot nightmare. Billy tells us there will be inmates now that we've redirected the steam. Billy warns us that our actions have consequences. Thanks, Bill. Big help that, and we can pick up a microcassette recorder and tape next to the guy who stared at the Ark of the Covenant. Gross. Pushing deeper into the tunnels, we can hear 2 more victims discussing rationing food. Wait, Jesus, John, what the f***? You have to feed your extras. Wait, where'd they get food? Did they just have it on them? Or is there food in this abandoned building? Wait, hang on. Are they eating each other? Well, we'll never know because one has killed the other. Actually, I guess we do know that. That solves the food problem. Yep, that's cannibalism. Let's not go that way, methinks, and instead climb a ladder out of here. Just kidding, it's a narrow hallway of misery. Haha. Take a good look at the now completed trap in the hole in the wall. Very Edgar Allan Poe. Let's see, we've got a timer, a work light, TV, VHS, tape setup, powered door, and wow, 7 shotguns. Can you bisect a body with 7 shotgun blasts? My lawyer says yes, my therapist says why. Scooching past that trauma hole, we can charge for the single work light hanging from the ceiling before scuttling back downstairs, where a case file reveals the positive pressure of the boiler is holding the entire building up. Excuse me? Is that even possible? I need to contact a structural engineer about that. Structural engineers in chat, speak up. Anyway, we run into the cannibal corpse and use the valve to clear the path forward to the load-bearing boiler room, steal a syringe from that cabinet, and tiptoe, still barefoot by the way, towards certain doom. Oh hey, here's the cannibal, I think. Oh, he's dead, what a shame. Anyway, we'll just take his shotgun shell and continue on our way. Oh look, a maze! Or as my producer is informing me, obviously he's learning outside of kindred spirits. A meager animalistic zeitgeist engages. Or, oh look, a maze! So the maze is pretty simple. We run down one path, twist the valve, then run down the second path. Not a whole lot going on here, purchase-wise. Glow-in-the-dark paint, some gears, gearbox, puzzle cabinet, baseball bat, nothing crazy. We do get a lore drop, which may or may not have some future bearing on our journey through this hellhole. Tap squeezes his way through some pipes. God damn it. Tap squeezes his way through some pipes, there we go, before entering the almost final trap of this level, men. Indulging in natural environments, cleansing, relaxing, and admiring friendly temperatures. Or Minecraft. A powered door slams shut behind us, and we're introduced to Vic, that's Vic, doing his best impression of the man in the iron shoebox. I wonder if this trap is inspired by the water cube, but instead of water, it's filled with rust and asbestos. The box head is bespoke and is fitted to an equally bolted chest piece. I don't know what the function of his escape is, but maybe the key to his release is inside Tap. Maybe? All told though, the parts here amount to approximately $185 in steel, bolts, leather, and locks. So how do we defeat Minecraft Steve? Well, it's easy. 4 shotgun tripwire traps adorn the room. Tap's job is to lead our blockhead into each of those traps. That'll stun him. Then we just beat him to death with our hands. Hell yeah, easy peasy. God damn it, run it again. Squeeze through the pipes. Okay, right, squeeze through the pipes, enter the room, trigger the trap. There we go, that's how you do it. Just a few more blasts and land a well-placed punch on his appendix, rupturing it and collapsing his body to the floor. Loot his body for the valve we need to solve our little pipe dial puzzle. And you know what? We should discuss this thing. So on the one hand, it's a very simple dial puzzle, right? Rotate the rings to make a complete circuit out of the pipes. But also, these pipes operate or seal the flow of gases, steam, liquid, what have you. So while they're representative of a flow system, their solution also involves the flow of materials contained therein. Notice when we make a connection, a little blast of steam poofs out. This puzzle is actually creating a flow. As such, with the parts necessary to interject into a flow system and create a dial puzzle of actual operational pipes, we can charge $350 in pipes, fittings, and specialized parts. Neat. Solving the puzzle clears the steam, allowing us to exit into the little Jigsaw date room. 2 TVs flicker to life as we take the furnace key from the very nice box and inform us that we've killed the boiler. Shit. A timer flicks on and we're left to our own devices to navigate our way out of the boiler. At least Jigsaw is nice enough to repeat that timer on our way out. Here, here, and here. Thanks, Jigsaw. So thoughtful. Not sure about losing the load-bearing boiler, but whatever, it's probably fine. Unlocking the path to the furnace, you remember the path to the furnace, sends us down, you guessed it, a grimy hallway. Let's grab that syringe on the shelf. Not a healing syringe, by the way, marginally cheaper. And hey kids, check this out. On your right, you'll see a now completed trap room. Whew, toasty. Let's see here. We've got a timer, power door in the back, and yeah, I'm not sure what went down here. Must have been some kind of flammable ignition thing, maybe a candle and gas, a bomb of sorts. Very incendiary, the whole thing. Well, his name is Toasty, and now we're moving on. There's a storage room with a custom lock, but nothing worth having inside. Tap also breezes by a tripwire shotgun trap in need of a tripwire. Further down the hall, a shotgun door trap tries to slow our progress, but haha, not today, shotgun! We twist a valve to cut off a wall of fire, taking note of 2 work lights and pausing to admire the shape of that victim's skull. Ooh, his trap went off. Cool! And thanks for the health. Another custom lock holds back another syringe and baseball bat, but we're on a mission. We have to, what are we doing? We have a furnace to save, or power, or something, right? What are we doing? Just in time to remind us, a TV playing a Jigsaw piece invites us to watch another victim stumble down a hallway, and yet another TV pulls its weight and shows off our coworker we're supposed to be saving. That's right, coworker. I think that's a new camera angle too. Nice! Boy, I'm not feeling too excited about that trap. It feels like it might be, derivative.
You framed an innocent man.
He was a worthless drunk, a repeat offender.
Yeah, I would definitely call that epic bad luck.
Justice will be served.
Oh my God! Help!
Yeah, I guess our coworker was a drunk driver, hit and runner, and arranged the evidence to blame an innocent man, or innocent at the time at least, for the crime. Ooh. I'm still not sure if that footage was live or pre-recorded, but we do know that there's at least one apprentice running around the asylum, so we'll see. Through the gate, we can spot a string of work lights, 2 candles, and a new form of illumination. A whole fucking DLSR with flash! We're just raiding Adam's apartment now? Is that free game? I'm still charging you for that camera, Jigsaw. You can't stop me. Luckily for us, this camera only operates with the flash, so it's not too difficult to pick up used. However, this form of illumination fucking sucks, so we're gonna leave it here. Last thing I want for a flashlight is a trip to the hospital for epilepsy. Ugh. I'm not nearly faded enough to enjoy that kind of game. Further down the hall, a TV tells us to find the truth, thanks TV, and present some more Whitehurst lore. Apparently, there's drugs and chemicals in the building. Yeah, dude, I'd hope so. Unless all these syringes have been full of party drugs and I've actually been a semi-silvery, conscious puddle on the ground like Alex Mack from the hit Nickelodeon kids show, The Secret World of Alex Mack. I'll also permit being one of the kids from the Capri Sun commercial that turns into a different but equally horrifying puddle. I just want to be a puddle. Using the lighter reveals a bunch of fucking mannequin heads staring at us from the ceiling. What the f, dude? Making our way down the hallway of strange red and green lights, we come upon another TV. This time showing us green snow. Cooler is this piece of graffiti that feels like a spiral Easter egg. Man, this game was so ahead of its time. Anyway, we're tasked with solving this room's puzzle. 12 pig carcasses are strapped to rolling walls, and we need to roll those walls to open the exit, as explained by this glow-in-the-dark paint. This isn't how I wanted to introduce you to pork sliders, but here we are. You know what? Yeah, no acronym. This is just called pork sliders. Enjoy your lunch while we get these out of the way. After clearing the table, we pass under a few more work lights and head upstairs toward the furnace room. Time to get this barbecue lit! So this room is a bit of a mess. Tap may or may not walk into a few shotgun traps up here. No fault of our own, that's for sure. I do mistake this cabinet for a fridge. That's my bad. I was hungry during the stream. Oh my God! Oh, it's a pantry. I thought this was a refrigerator. I'm like, Tap's 6'4". Our refrigerator's giant. Tap tiptoes past the shotgun trap, but wanders straight into this one. Again, not our fault. It's dark, and we still haven't gotten to the flashlight. Down the hall, a television cautions us that puzzles are afoot. Thanks for the heads up, Mr. Saw. Some fellow inmates at the House of the Damned step out to fight, while another one is stuck in a cage with a minute 20 on the clock. After beating one man to death in self-defense, we set our sights on another guy with a baseball bat. After tasting the fists of justice, we finally turn our sights on the man of the moment, the rat in the cage, the guy with a skull vice and spine inserts trap thing. Maybe we can finally figure out how this trap kills you. It looks like the victim is blinded by his contraption, much to our benefit, but can still hear us walk around him. He asks for reassurance, but, well...
Talk to me! God damn it, talk!
How do you die? Look, I know it's not the most reassuring thing to hear, but we're a cop, damn it, not a therapist. As it turns out, though, when the timer ends, his gate opens, and, well, he doesn't die. Not from the trap, anyway. Eat fist, kidnap man! We can take a minute to appreciate how fucked up this contraption is, but I'm still not sure exactly what it does. Whatever, he had the key we needed, so let's head along to the next stretch of the basement hell. This series of rooms is all shotgun traps, shotgun shells, work lights, security cameras. It's all a bit samey. I guess we were supposed to lead those inmates on a wild chase through these rooms, but finally, we arrive at our destination and the potential tomb of our dear coworker and friend, Jennings Foster. A stack of TVs light up next to us as we enter the room, bootleg Billy's face illuminating the darkness. I present to you predictable execution, narrowed designs, underlying limited, unique methods, or Pendulum. I'll not change my mind. So, the construction of this trap is thus. Jennings, that's Jennings, is strapped to a table with a pendulum swinging above him. Unseen but very active is a timer counting down to his vivisection. As time passes, that pendulum swings a little bit lower. Around the table are 4 panels illuminated with red lights. On those panels are some familiar mechanisms. Those gear puzzles we were supposed to be practicing. Luckily for us, solving a gear puzzle moves the pendulum back up. Unluckily for us, I'm pretty sure the timer keeps going during every cutscene, and every time the pendulum lowers, a cutscene plays where we can't work on the puzzle. So yeah, great. Correctly solve a gear puzzle, the light turns green, and we can move on to the next section. Fail to solve it, and well... But we would never do that! Haha! Tap successfully solves all those little gears, and the pendulum hits the brakes and explodes off the arm? Alright. Jennings is super appreciative of being saved. Very thankful. And that was the end of the first stream. We had raised $794 for charity and suffered through almost 4 hours of Saw the video game. But we are far, far from over. Stream 2 began bright and early with Tap still in the basement, walking directly into a room with a TV and 4 nail bombs. Joy. Billy explains that there are 2 paths ahead to choose from, sighted and blind. Thanks, Bill. So, 2 paths. One where we can see what's coming, and one where we are left blind in the darkness. Finish the section before the 3-minute timer runs out and the bombs go off. I call this journey divisive, raging, abandoned goons obscure near futures, obstacles rearrange, clean escape, or Dragonforce. You'll see why in a sec. Being the big brain detective that we are, Tap chose the sighted path first. The sighted path threatens us with another bomb and a sealed door. Cool. And when we turn the corner, there's, oh boy. I count 10 more bombs in this stretch, which is just awesome. Another timer reminds us we're using our time wisely, and to our left we encounter, well, oh, good. Whatever's happening there. So yeah, that's a lot of razor wire and 3 guillotine walls. Eey. So that's a collection of pistons, motors, rails, giant scrap metal blades. Beyond those guillotines is another timer and some lockers with a coupler that we use on the circuit puzzle behind us. Now, what's really cool about this is we die. So for the sake of science, Tap decides to take the blind path. Now, you might remember when we chose to keep our lighter instead of the DSLR flash from the last stream. And that's where the name of this trap comes into play. This path is full, and I mean full of barrels, full of, well, fuel. How many barrels of fuel? I counted 46 barrels of fuel, with 10 more bombs and a timer in the midst. So after looking at calculating the cost of a barrel of gas in the early to mid 2000s and successfully barbecuing ourselves in the process, we make it through the other side. Good job! We are rewarded with a bottle of water and a flashlight. Finally, some modern illumination. Oh my god, it's a video game, you guys. Zip-zopping our way up the stairs, and we're officially in the chapel section of the game. Another unpowered security gate flummoxes our senses, but luckily for us, we're an apprentice electrician. We pass by a bank of TVs that have yet to taunt us, pop a custom lock and hijack the syringe inside. Neat. In the back room, a new feature shows up. A trap schematic. Evidently, we're doing a terrible job at building traps for our fellow inmates, so Jigsaw has given us some Kevin McAllister-style plans on how to build a stun trap. I'll charge $1 for the construction paper and crayons. Adorable. A sealed door accents the room, really tying it all together. And some lore hints at who our new friend is. That's cool. Jeff from the first film is still alive. I hope he's thriving in his lane and definitely not re-kidnapped by Jigsaw. A jug of ammonia is hanging out in a filing cabinet because, sure, another blocked door, that sucks. And some more lore. And in the bathroom, there's a dead victim being ratatouilleed into doing drugs. Digging through his toilet drugs reveals the key we need to progress. progress. With that key, Tap can backtrack downstairs to the utility room, which takes us to another tiny staircase that's, oh good, it's flooded, that's great. At least our socks won't get wet because we still don't have any. Entering the room presents us with a jigsaw puzzle I call Tempting Reflexes. Enjoy new considerable hygiene. Finally, our own therapeutic Tootsies. Or Trenchfoot.
Find the combination to open his cage and reroute the power back to the doors. But do so quickly. When he touches the water, you will both share his fate.
Right, so yeah, that guy is dead and being electrocuted and will slowly be lowered into the water. When he hits the water, we all fry. If we want to stop that from happening, we have to find the combination to that code lock, access the circuit puzzle, and shut off the electricity. Now you may be wondering, what's the code? Well, don't worry. Jigsaw painted it on the walls. Unfortunately, I'm an idiot and couldn't solve this one. Now I know I have to stand on the painted jigsaw pieces to look at the walls, but I don't know, man. My brain stopped working here. Anyway, the walkthrough gave us the code and we got out. Boom, baby. As we attempt to head back upstairs, the door slams shut in front of us. And we bear witness to the next victim. Ooh, better not backtalk Jigsaw like that. He does not like sass. Jigsaw serves. He is not served. Anyway, the woman in the video is Sing's wife, and she hates Tap slightly more than she hates Jigsaw. That figures. The door unlocks, and we're finally free to continue forward through Cedar Ward towards the chapel. Psych! We're getting jumped by a guy in a Venus flytrap trap. That resolves pretty quickly. Sorry, guy. On the TVs in the room, footage plays of the local graveyard, with a close-up of a very particular tombstone with a familiar name. Aw, and it's Bootleg Billy again. Gross. Well, that's a big hint that we're headed to a graveyard, so I guess we better find it. There's not too much on the way, 3 sealed doors, but we do end up in another trap room with a bold ask. Fucking hell, Jigsaw, is this how you find God? All right, let's see. There's 5 candles. That's moody. A TV with Billy. I'll say the dental chair was scavenged, but I do see 2 winches with some fresh chain pulling a fucking auger drill into a victim's chest. What the Some lore next to the trap informs us on something called a sympathectomy? Sympathectomy? Oh, that's horrifying. And we're back on Jigsaw's trail. These rooms get a little samey, so we're just gonna breeze through here. This section starts with a powered door at the end of a hallway. It does in fact close behind us. This hallway is neat. A lot of the same stuff though. Sealed doors, circuit puzzles. There's a guy at the end of the hallway who just popped himself. Cool. Some ammonia, another shotgun door trap, some lore about mannequins and coupling. You know what? I'm just gonna grab that gun. I don't think he needs it anymore. Pretty sure it's the same model revolver as seen in Saw 2, and ho! What's this? A new trap room. This room is filling with gas. We need to solve a pipe puzzle to shut off the gas. I call this Foremost Attacks. Respiratory Technical Systems, or FARTS. This room features a power door slamming shut behind us, classic, as well as 3 candles and a pipe dial puzzle exactly like the one in the basement. Once again, this puzzle controls the flow of fluids and gases, so it's not a simple sliding circle puzzle. It's fitted, which means it's expensive. The rest of the room contains a shotgun shell, paint thinner, the valve to stop the puzzle, and this really cool gas dispersal system pumping noxious fumes into the room. There's also a really nice box and a coupler. Thanks, Farts. Eventually, Tap works his way back to the start of this hallway to slam that coupler into the circuit puzzle, destroying its ability to stymie our progress. And we dive headfirst into the hallway beyond the security checkpoint. On the other side of the gate, we spot a new victim, some sealed doors, and a little further down, we get a new cassette. We grab some essentials from this side of the room, get our first look at the courtyard. Looks nice, I like it, breezy. Oh, look, a friend. Oh, he's mad. Well, it's a good thing we've got a gun. And problem solved, great. This courtyard is full of tripwire shotgun traps. That's annoying, but it's also got a basement. Some custom locks later and we're treated to a gear and some paint thinner. A shotgun door trap, more shotgun shells, and oh, a gear puzzle cabinet. I'm not grabbing the bat. I like the gun. Back upstairs, we get a cutscene. Whoa! A Jigsaw apprentice is busy strangling down a victim. That's fucked up. And, well, that's it, really. Just snaps his neck. Yep, up, yo. We climb the ladder to where that Molotov cocktail thrower stood. How dare we stand where he stood? And take note of his very nice lighter. Also, I gotta point out, some of the big dollar donors we got during this part of our audit, Adam Sandler, Gordon Ramsay, evil Gordon Ramsay, and Lawrence Gordon's foot. All these donors really pulled it together to help us raise money. Thanks, Gordon Ramsays. Back inside the building, we worm our way past some stuff and find one of Jigsaw's workbenches, this time with a chemistry station. This is essentially the same setup we see on those tables in Saw 2, but it's here that we can finally craft some traps, if we have blueprints. Which we do! So we do. Are we ever gonna use them? Nah, maybe, probably not. Anyway, disarm this trap, read about MK Ultra, a very real government program to give citizens LSD in the hopes that they'll develop superpowers. Huh. Cross that beam, read about Jigsaw hiding another key in another corpse, I guess, and stop to admire a victim crushed in a spiked wall trap. Bummer. All right, these hallways are getting super tedious. Here's everything between right now and the graveyard. There we go. What follows is a comprehensive battle royale of talent, death, explosives, and a dope graveyard. I call this vitality amongst mortuary principles, increases risk of envious souls, or vampires. While those two Jigsaw victims down below duke it out, I'll explain what's about to go down in the rest of the quad. Down in that courtyard is the mass grave for the asylum, illuminated with 10 candles. There are 8 bombs inside 9 boxes, with 8 note cards that comically say, boom, because Jigsaw is a cheeky boy who might be a Looney Tunes villain. Oh, and on a roof nearby is another Jigsaw victim throwing Molotovs at us. Our job is to find the right tombstone with the correct box in order to not die. There's also a couple of tripwire shotgun traps to confuse our day. Billy, got anything to add? No? Cool. Upon finding the correct tombstone, which, yeah, that's about as custom a tombstone as you can get. Oh my God, Detective Singh's Custom Tombstone Manufacturing Company. Thank you for the donation. Wow, what a specific and single-use industry you're in. You are rewarded with the key to Cedar Ward. Jigsaw tells us that we have the key to Cedar Ward and to find the angel to save her life. The Cedar Ward features most of the razor wire found in the game, apparently, absolutely decking the halls with more slicers than a pizza parlor. A new section of the map means a new security checkpoint, means a new maze of offices to get through. But this time, it's spicy. Tap didn't open this door right away, but there's a tripwire shotgun trap, some ammonia, paint thinner, and a backup flashlight in there. Back in the hallway, though... Oh, you're a bomb! Hi! Boy, I hope there aren't more of those hiding everywhere throughout this game. That's right, it's time for another trap. Bringing order by maintaining behavior. Supportive hallways ensure loyalty through exemplary rationality. Or bomb shelter. 10 bombs, including the 2 in the previous hallway, are set to explode when the timer runs out. In order to not die, we need to take shelter. Shelter is locked behind a door with a combination lock. The combination is locked in a room with a Jigsaw victim in an iron box head trap. In case you're not smart enough to catch on, there's a baseball bat in one of the rooms to beat that victim to death with. Are we that smart? Well, we're smart enough to find the fuse that unlocks the box head room. Are we smart enough to know what to do in there? Well... No. What you're supposed to do is peep through the hole, grab the combo, and then take shelter. By the way, that second room has glow-in-the-dark paint and another bomb. Finally arriving in the shelter, we're given 2 pieces of advice. Close the door. I don't know why that kills me. You should probably close the door. I genuinely love this game. The explosion damaged a wall to a bathroom with an upright work light, and in the toilet is the key to the stairwell. That's right, kittens. Daddy Tap has to go back downstairs. Down in what I can only describe as a Jigsaw gooning cave, a shrine of sorts has been set up featuring 2 head vice traps, some schematics for the McRib, what looks like a whole lot of surveillance on tap, 2 very nice boxes, and a microcassette recorder and tape. Oh, and a lot of lore. The tape is Jigsaw's 911 call to report 2 officers down. Oh, nice of him. I knew he cared. The Goon Cave continues with more lore. You're right, this is the J. Jonah Jameson of the Soniverse. A gas mask, some candles, a reel-to-reel player, and what I'm pretty sure is Sing's stolen answering machine. Alright, what the fuck, John? Kidnapping people? Sure, but stealing their answering machines? Oh, and there's like 10 composition notebooks detailing how Melissa Sing, Detective Sing's wife, blamed Tap. Get in line, lady! Everybody hates Tap! Speaking of, exiting the Goon Cave gives us a jump scare from Pig Goon! Ah! And we got another security camera! Ah! Down in the deeper basement, I guess, Jigsaw has left another cheeky message in the mirror, a microcassette player and tape for us, and a victim torn in half to enjoy while we listen.
You think of my subjects as victims, but what about those who suffer at the hands of your choices?
Sorry, a subject torn in half to enjoy while we listen. My bad. Around the corner, there's another chemistry station and lore or moral grandstanding. You decide. I'm charging $1 for that. This next puzzle stands between us and the victim we must save. I call it proclaiming opinions to temporarily elevate righteousness, yet challenging logic and seeking superiority. Or Pottery Class. We start off by collecting some necessary items in filing cabinets, reading some lore about acid, and then make our way to what are either isolation wards or storage for arts and crafts. Oh, this is where my dad put all my drawings when I was a kid. That makes sense now. Among these rooms is a statue that, when beaten, reveals a key. Also among these rooms are Jigsaw subjects that, when beaten, reveal blood, mostly. Might also reveal something about us. Might not. Eventually we get the right key and take it back to one of those balloon arches, but instead of balloons, it's a spiraling electric bill. I'm still not charging for utilities. I just can't miss a spiral joke. Oh, and in the rest of the room is a circuit puzzle, a powered door, a subject, a lighter, another subject, and a floor stencil of a Jigsaw puzzle piece, and lore. We also get a new camera angle on Melissa. Hi, Melissa! The next room is more of the same. Work lights, Jigsaw subjects. Oh, this is cool. This guy's hand is in a box, and if his heart stops, the hand explodes. But we're smarter than that. Oop, shit, nope. I hit the wrong button. Typically smarter than that. The rest of this room has work lights, a circuit puzzle, and another dude in a shotgun collar. Finally, though, we're led to a ladder to the first floor, where we get a nice visual of a post-reverse bear trap. Ah, bummer that. Guess it was either die in a bear trap or watch Jigsaw's home movies. Speaking of, a veritable television section of Best Buy is bolted to the walls. 8 TVs play 8 tapes and flip through security footage of Melissa in quick succession. Yep, I think this is the place. Heading into the chapel, I am thrilled to present Warning All, Facing Fate's Law, Entering, Intervening, Redeeming Opponents, Nevermore, or Waffle Iron. Billy, take it away.
You're in what might be called an Iron Maiden. Move the metal cubes to the symbols and avoid the strikes. After 6 strikes, the device will snap shut, and this place will be your doom.
Right, he called it an Iron Maiden, but we know what he meant to say. 6 candles and 3 utility lights illuminate this dance of death. On the stage is Melissa's Waffle Iron. You remember Melissa. 6 car batteries with some extra special bits are powering 2 very large electromagnets that hold both halves of the iron back. Within those halves, there are 6 12-inch saw blades. Spin, spin, sugaring in place. Wait, no, running free in place. There we go. Across the stage are 3 magnetic sliding puzzles, each increasingly more complex than the last. Each puzzle has a light-up board, electromagnets, 3 padlocks, and other general hardware at play. Tap must complete each sliding puzzle before the timer runs out, and Melissa learns the number of the beast, which in this case is 6, or 0. See? I'm a great cop! Gah! Outside the Waffle Iron, we're introduced to the stairwell of separation. Quadruple divorcee Detective Tap is thrust into Pine Ward. 5 TVs taunt Tap's inability to keep friends. Thanks, Jigsaw. A few rooms later, and we pick up some gas trap schematics. That'll make us some friends. And a gearbox offers us a baseball bat for our troubles. Neat. Opting to ignore that, we get a better look at the 5 TV setup, and Jigsaw fills us in on the sitch. Oh.
A broken man, detective, scattered into pieces. So is the man trapped at the end of this ward. A man who destroyed your reputation piece by piece. Will you help him?
Our next subject is shattered, broken to pieces. And to find him, we have to find puzzle pieces scattered among Pine Ward. It's a little bit on the nose, but it's still neat. Before moving on, we walk in on a post-arm blade trap guy in the bathroom. Sir, I need to search your person. Oh, he's got one of the knife wrist blade thingies on him. Still not sure how that works, but I'm more and more convinced that Jigsaw was an assassin with a very particular creed. Down the hall we get, oh, nice, another micro cassette recorder and some hallway accoutrement. Let's see what this thing has to say.
Melissa, should you survive the test I've placed before Detective Tap, I offer you a choice. Stay with him, forgive him, and you both can help each other survive. Leave him, and you will never see him again. I leave that to you.
Oh, she's dead. Ooh, rip Melissa. Ew. Around the corner, well, over the collapsed ceiling ramp, is another tripwire shotgun. Ah! Nice. Let's try that again. Beyond the trap, there's a Jigsaw subject with a pipe looking for these hands. Nice. Punch a man in the throat 6 times. You'll win every battle. And turn around to play with the shopping cart, squeeze through that secret hole, and oh good, a subject in a shotgun collar with a baseball bat. Well, let's avoid that guy until he pops off. Did it. Up the stairs, nix that shotgun trap, tell Trent Reznor we're falling down a hole, and get jump scared. Handle that, use our head explodey powers, skip chemistry class, get lost for a bit, make our way back upstairs, and trigger Jigsaw's next trap. There's a bunch of bombs all over. Tap has 2 minutes, 20 seconds to find whatever stops the bombs from going off. I call this blindly righteous undertaking, self-serving hypocrisy, yet overlooked underlying reasons twisting every effort, targeting hope. Or brush your teeth, because instead of beating a dead horse, I'm using this as an opportunity to remind everyone to brush their teeth for at least 2 minutes. And floss beforehand. Anyway, here's everything in this trap in order of appearance. As a reward, we get a bag of puzzle pieces. Hooray! Oh, and lore. Jigsaw congratulates our puzzle-solving abilities, and we move on to the next hallway. Pop that lock, snatch that syringe, and down another hole we go. What floor are we on? First floor? Basement? I think it's the first floor. Oh my god! It's Oswald McGillicuddy! What, you don't know Oswald McGillicuddy? Do I have to save him? Yeah, unfortunately. After getting a little lost again, we find another secret hole in the wall leading to a not-so-secret hole to drop down. Okay, now we're back in the basement. What have we got in the basement, Jigs? Ooh, a razor wire pit trap. Neat. Sucks for that guy, though. Elsewhere in the basement, we've got... Who is that? Mark Hoffman! Oh, it looks like he survived his own trap in there. Good for him. Now, I'm not a doctor, but it looks like he just caught hands. As a reward, there's a Jigsaw box with a gun. Yoink. Elsewhere in this room are another DSLR and some explosive trap schematics. Very fun. And in the next room, we've got a shotgun shell, a fuse, some gears, my everlasting love of seeing a crossover comic book between Jigsaw and Batman. I want a crossover between Batman and Jigsaw. I want a comic book. I want it. I need it. I want it. I want to see it. I need to see it. I want to need to see it. Eventually, we run into another pair of fire-obsessed criminals. But we have guns, so yeah. Busting through a custom lock and whizzing past the chemistry station. Ooh, this next room is fun. There's 7 TVs blasting us in the noggin, a nice box with a micro cassette recorder, some candles, another DSLR, and our entrance is shuttered completely. That's right, we've arrived at our next checkpoint of sorts, where Jigsaw checks in on us and points out our flaws.
You might have survived the death of your partner, Detective Singh, if it wasn't for this man. The man who created a phantom crusade against you. For no reason other than to gain fame and fortune. He has nothing without his empty words. But you, Detective, are
Thanks, Jigs. We also get 3 new camera angles on Oz, that's Oz, in the yoke of a Jigsaw yoga class. Out in the hall, we spy a dead guy, a nice door, and a jump scare. Oh, that's a reinforced door. Interesting. Never mind. Eventually, we get to another staging ground where Oz is pleading for his life with Jigsaw. I really don't want to save this guy. I just vibes. Around the corner, we get some, oh no. It's a miniature recreation of the Harvester Combine trap from the collection from the past. Man, this game was so ahead of its time. But wait, there's lore. Down the hall, we encounter some dead subjects. Sir, stand down. As well as a side room filled with baddies and goodies. Taking the many ladders up provides us with a view of razor wire, and from here we've got a pretty extensive series of traps that I like to call placing relentless objects between lives, exposing manipulated agony, twisted intrigue, carving mysteries, and, nevertheless, noticeable effigies, questions underlying innocence, never satisfied, or problematic mannequins. Feel free to use that as a band name. To our left is a combination lock, and behind a razor wire and chain link wall is a Jigsaw subject who is not doing all right. He's got one of those bomb hand box traps on him, but that sucks. It's like the opposite of the hand model from Zoolander. Working our way down the hall, we grab a health syringe and make our way to the first piece of this puzzle floor, a pig carcass maze. Do you think Jigsaw likes pigs because it reminds us that we're bloated sacks of meat ready to be slaughtered by our own ignorance? Tap has 1 minute to move the pigs around to clear his way through. I count 2 powered doors, 11 bombs, 32 pig carcasses, 2 timers, and some razor wire. And you know what? I'm sure I've talked about this before, but it bears repeating. Yes, Jill's family owned a pig farm. That pig farm went out of business many, many years before this game took place. Pig carcasses, like all carcasses, do not last very long once they're carcassy. Jigsaw bought pigs. And hey, that's okay. He can buy pigs. Because if you were using Jill's little piggies, we'd be pushing bones. But I'll offer you this. If Jigsaw bought up so many pigs for this asylum, he likely used the leftover pigs in the factory during Saw 3. Because we are nowhere at pig capacity for this game yet. Anyway, we solved this puzzle because we are so smart as Sim Marty. Take note of paint thinner, candle on stairs, and it's back down to the first floor to continue our puzzling sequence. Rigged arcs? Rigged arms? Rigid arms contain the code. Icon has rigged good. Attaboy. This room is weird and unsettling. You think Jigsaw likes mannequins because it reminds us that we're all just props in his games? Maybe. 8 stage lights are set up around the room that, when the correct one is illuminated, reveals the code we need for the combination lock upstairs. Also flipping the correct light activates the TV in the room with a congratulations from Billy. And opens the exit. Neat! This next room sucks. The floor is lightning, you see, and we've got to tiptoe our way through it very carefully. There's also a gear puzzle cabinet with a baseball bat, but I prefer gun. Elsewhere in this room is some case files, some gears, ammonia, and paint thinner on a dead body, but we're in a rush to save Oz, I guess. But not before getting gassed and shotgun door trapped. Whereupon Jigsaw once again gives us another second chance. At least he's forgiving. Another gear puzzle box, another gun, another pipe puzzle, some gears, ammonia, you get it, we got it. Bing, bang, boom. And for anyone wondering, well, wouldn't that gas dispersal system be built into the asylum? Homie, it's a ventilation system specifically linked up to a biohazardous tank of biohazardous gas. That's not standard, it's diabolical. Outside, the windows are adorned with razor wire and Tap spends an amount of time being a little lost. But he figures it out and gets back to the combination lock. Punches in the code and shoots the hand model, also flees because that hand is about to become very incendiary very quickly. Inside the nursery, because this is the children's ward of the insane asylum after all, we find our second bag of puzzle pieces. We get a little lost again, check up on some lore, get lost again, discover water fountains, get lost again, talk about my struggle with OCD and agoraphobia, discover more lore, manage to find our way back on task with an update on Oz, you remember Oz, solve another gas valve puzzle, dodge another tripwire shotgun trap, sippy some waters, find out that there are people selling copies of this game on Steam accounts for $10,000? Not only is that true, but why? I stopped to brag about my skill with guns. Yeah, you like my aim? You tell I'm a professional. Oops. Professional. And eventually find our way back to the puzzle assembly room. What is this big, complex puzzle we're tasked with assembling? It's a photo of Billy on his tricycle. Well, yeah, it's Billy on a tricycle, but why does he look like that? Oh no. That Billy has been yassified before yassification. So ahead of its time. Anywho, we figure out the puzzle. I solved your game, Jigsaw. Now, give me my boyfriend. And we enter the final trap room of Stream 2. I present to you fragmented assemblies, keeping everything needing electronic wires, spiraling, or fake news. This room is pretty straightforward. A powered door opens and Billy pops up on a TV to explain why Oz sucks. 2 timers inform us we have 4 minutes to solve 3 circuit puzzles, no couplers needed. Solving those circuit puzzles will cease the function of the device in the center of the room. Oz, you remember Oz, is strapped into what I call a proto-rack. He's propped up, his limbs strapped down on mobile platforms that, when a motor activates, begin to bend backwards. Over the course of the 4 minutes, each of his limbs will begin to be pulled backwards until they break, with the final bend occurring at his spine. Ugh. We've got hydraulic pistons, we've got large motors, small motors, gear trains. What we're seeing really is similar to the rack, just less complex. Jigsaw always said the rack was his favorite trap, and he had to practice somewhere. After about half an hour of trial and error, because each of these puzzles are randomized, so when you die, there is no walkthrough solution. You just have to figure it out. You gotta figure it out in the time limit. Not that Oz died a whole lot, but eventually we figured it out. And we ended Stream 2 on that victorious high, having now raised an incredible $1,359 for Thankmas. You know, hopefully Oz is really proud of us for saving his life. Stream 3 starts with Oz getting himself killed. After trying to make ladders work, we make our way to the 2nd floor of Pine Ward, whereupon investigative journalist Oswald Cobblepooch walks straight into a tripwire guillotine trap. What's the scoop, Oz? Your insides on the floor? Wow. Right, so we've got 2 very large guillotines made out of scavenged materials, propelled forward by 2 very large pistons. 2 tripwire switches activate the experience of a lifetime. At the back of the hallway, Oz insisted on investigating is a bunch of razor wire and a pig carcass. On his person is a nail and a shotgun shell. Behind us, a TV flickered to life and just kind of hung out. We pop down the hall, find all the doors blocked, so we drop down the hole and head back to the 1st floor of Pine Ward. I think we're in Pine Ward. Regardless, at the end of the hall is another date night with Jigsaw, complete with another tape player. Apparently, we're headed into the crematorium. There's Pigface dragging another victim. On second thought, I think we might know that guy. So I'm gonna hold off on charging for him at the moment. And in case you can't tell, this is where the game gets spooky. And I'm not giving it back. Ah! 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 A side room offers us some stun trap schematics, thanks for the tip, as well as a replacement flashlight in case ours died or something. And out in the hallway, we get lore! Yeah, apparently Oz had a fan club. I don't know who's gonna tell them, but I don't think he'll be writing back. The next room has a very simple goal. Get upstairs. Only problem is upstairs is blocked by steam, so to unblock steam, we have to go downstairs. And to go downstairs, we have to dig through a toilet of needles for the key. Unfortunately for us, the road to downstairs is paved with remote shotgun collar subjects. I hate it when that happens. Safely downstairs, Tap hunts for the valve we need, encountering more razor wire, a shotgun trap, and another intimate moment with Jigsaw's aesthetics. Unseen is the paint thinner and ammonia inside that Jigsaw box. Activating the valve seizes the steam, arresting our ascent to the 2nd floor. Up on the 2nd floor, click, 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 there's a security camera watching us fumble around. In the adjoining room, a Jigsaw workshop of sorts can be found. You can tell it's a Jigsaw workshop because there's a baby mannequin in a wheelchair and a wall collage of surveillance photos. Neat. Charge for that surveillance. Moving through these upper halls, we encounter a lot more of the same. Shotgun shells, syringes, another DSLR, before coming upon the next barrier to progress, a combination lock. One shotgun door trap later, we solve Jigsaw's projector puzzle and avoid another shotgun trap. We go back to the combination lock and proceed to get attacked by a subject in a Venus flytrap with a bat. Shoot him, enter code, and Billy's your uncle, we're in like Flynn. Just in time to take a ladder back downstairs. I think we've moved a total of 15 actual feet in our hundreds of feet of ladders and hallways. But all that trekking was crucial to give Jigsaw enough time to set up the next cutscene. Abby, is in the crematorium, at risk of being burned. Hey, wait, that seems familiar. But this takes place before Saw 2, so it's actually prescient, not pretentious. At the end of the hall is a poor sod and a shotgun collar. Sucks to suck. And under the stairs is another dirty mattress soaked with lore. Ooh. Oz is a bastard man. Who could have guessed? Why did we save him again? Forgiveness? Further down the hall, there's a personal ad for Obi, and another security checkpoint that needs opening. 3 TVs pop up once we solve the circuit puzzle, showing us our next objective. Also, we need to shoot that guy. Past the checkpoint, we spy Jigsaw spying on us. A lot of razor wire, and a helpful hint for our next objective. For this to work, we're gonna need a hand. Jigsaw also gives us a cool history lesson about the horrifying existence of rush chairs. These things are real and horrible. Here's a picture of one now. Nightmare! Down in the hall, there's a subject in a steel box head trap, which I guess is kind of like a walking rush chair, huh? Wow, that's f***ed up. This hallway has a few different rooms at play. This one has a shotgun door trap, a jigsaw box containing explosive trap schematics, some supplies, you get it. Taking the stairs treats us to a TV, and on the second floor, we're given another clue. X marks the spot. Lucky for us, the second floor is full of surprises. For once, we're in control of the game. In front of us is a subject, locked into one of those vice traps with the spine inserts. Painful. In the room with him is a timer, a bomb, and a gear puzzle cabinet. Wired into the table in front of us is a big set of buttons. What happens when we press the button? So this is what power feels like. Right, anyway, there's another subject in a shotgun collar. Let's blast him. Take note of the lore here demanding that we reduce our fluids and admire the harvester trap room here. Will it blend? Probably. Anywho, cross that, punch a wall, crash our capture card, oops, fix it, and power slide down that ladder. In the room below, there's a guy missing his hand, sorry guy, as well as the frozen hand we need. Convenient. Which was also holding together all the textures for that biohazard box. Ew. Man had a death grip on this game, I swear. Oh, there's Blockhead. Goodbye, gun. I'll miss you. Blasting through the next couple of hallways, we can encounter some goodies amidst the rooms. Another gun that we can't have. A trap room featuring a Venus flytrap. Almost looks like the intro to Jigsaw. God, this game was so ahead of its time! And Spy Pigmask stalking the halls beyond another television-flanked gate. We also get to catch up with Obi. Obi? The hallway leads us deeper, plunging now into the basement of the crematorium. Billy introduces us to our next challenge. I present to you every limit evaporates, choices twist rapidly, instructions contradict. Fingers exhausted, everything's locked, or electric feel. Can you tell I'm listening to MGMT? Because I'm listening to MGMT. All right, this room sucks. Tap has 3 minutes and 30 seconds to solve 2 circuitry puzzles or the 10 bombs go off. Sounds easy? No. Each circuit puzzle needs a coupler. One puzzle is trapped behind a wall of steam. The other is stuck behind my smooth brain. I run at a single speed. Can't go faster than this. I'm running around barefoot. Hope I don't slip and fall. When I see people slip and fall, it hurts my groin. I think it's a sympathetic thing. Valve turn off. After exploding a couple of times to know where all the supplies are, Tap solves the circuitry puzzles. And remember, the puzzles are randomized each time, so you have to solve them fresh each time, and escapes this room. Into a room with a lot of TVs. Another door opens and we are given another room with 2 circuitry puzzles. This time with a beefy baseball Batman barring one, and a hallway filled with giant guillotines, and a room filled with toxic gas, and a mini circuit puzzle blocking the other circuit puzzle. Oh, and the circuit puzzles got bigger. Tap has 7 minutes and 30 seconds to figure this out before he's allowed to progress. Okay, let's think about this strategically. We're smart people. We have studied John Kramer, the puzzle master. He's the puzzler, guys. He's the puzzler. And that means so are we. And after furrowing our brains... Oh, we did it. Is it still counting down? It's still counting down! me. We managed to solve the room and escape. Apparently, Germa spent hours in this basement, and I can see why. This is cruel. Then again, I hadn't played Saw 2 Flesh and Blood yet, so I really didn't know what cruel meant at this point in time. Look at me, so innocent. If you're a glutton for punishment and want to hear me drop like 30 F-bombs, feel free to revisit the live stream. It's worth it for the songs at least. Or my rants about H.H. Holmes being an industrialist and a serial killer. And subscribe! Finally free of the basement, we're able to traverse up the stairs and back onto the first floor of the crematorium in pursuit of Obi's freedom. The entrance to Obi's doom is marked by a security camera, 6 TVs, a nice box, and a micro cassette player and tape. Tap pulls the frozen hand from his pocket and places it in the nearby furnace, allowing the muscles to relax and release the key. Definitely didn't burn a guy's hand to ashes for that. Neat that it didn't hurt us though. Unlocking the door, we're presented with Obi's trap. That's right, I present to you, badly assembled riddles become extra crispy under extremes. Or barbecue. Obi is in the big crematorium furnace because he's obsessed with trying to get into Jigsaw's games. He thinks that surviving a game will change his life. While he's not wrong, because that is the whole point, Jigsaw thinks he's being too independent and is trying to use the game as motivation for change rather than just applying the change to himself. As such, Obi is incapable of asking for help, so now his game depends on help, Tap's help specifically. Tap has to solve 3 consecutive pipe puzzles in order to redirect the fuel and save Obi's life. That's really it. The only timer is Obi's health. Obi's been staying fit. Workout, hit the sauna. Maybe skip the sauna. After giving Obi the glaze a few more times, we finally managed to rescue him for the first time, definitely first time, pro gamer strats. And Obi is super appreciative. In hindsight, it's really funny that Obi's next game requires pulling a single lever and absolutely failing to do so. Out in the hallway, we're treated to a victory lap from Jigsaw and some hints about our next guest at the H.H. Holmes Hotel. Compelling! Up the stairs, we encounter our first broken TV, that's surprising, while the rest of the stairwell is decorated with another TV and a suspended pig carcass. That's somehow less surprising. At the top of the stairs, Jigsaw informs us that the show has just begun, and we're tasked with another acid barrel dive. Neat. Having retrieved the key, Obi bails on us. You know something? I'm gonna miss him. Anyway, we zip-zop our way through a hole in the floor, down to the second floor? First floor? Guide says we're now on the second floor of the recreation wing. So this is cool. We're in the lobby of the theater, complete with a collection of doors, a TV that will come into play later, some work lights, a combination lock on the big doors over there. Whew, looks like the ticket office is sealed with a custom lock and contains a health syringe, some gears, a shotgun shell, a weaponized syringe, and a jigsaw box. Solving the jigsaw box nets us some explosive trap schematics and a shotgun shell. Solve puzzles, do violence, from the Book of Saw. On the other side of the lobby and up the stairs is a deceased Jigsaw subject who chose death over games. Yami Yugi would not respect that. At the top of the stairs are some candles. The door slams shut behind us, always nice to see, and another micro cassette player and tape. In the corner is another healthy syringe and shotgun shell. But ahead of us are 3 stage lights and some very colorful clouds. What do we got tonight, kids?
Perhaps your perception will change when you step behind the curtain. To do so, use the lights and trust your eyes.
Right, so we need to find bulbs. Getting those bulbs will light up the combination we need to the lock down below. In the lobby, a powered door opens, and we're sent off on our quest. These next hallways are sociable. Hi. Hello. Are you good? And loreful. There goes Reagan, closing the asylums and ruining public health care. Thanks, Reagan. Hope the afterlife is a saw trap for you. Really cool that they tie the asylum into Umbrella Insurance, though. This game really wraps around the overarching lore of the franchise, and I can't wait to see that love of the series reflect in this game's sequel. To celebrate, we're accosted by a second Jigsaw subject wielding a bat, and he's dead. At the nearby security checkpoint, we're introduced to our next subject, Jeff, the guy who escaped from the first film. Turns out you cannot mulligan your way out of Jigsaw's plans. Usually. Down the hall is Jeff's confession, where it is revealed that Jeff sounds like Kermit the Frog. Sorry, Jeff.
If you read the paper, you know who he is. The Jigsaw Killer. He put me in one of those contraptions. He said it was a test.
This next cavernous room is a bit of a split between 2 paths we can take. Staff housing and the cafeteria. And of course, it's full of traps. but it's also got flashbacks. Traumatizing. Charge for that subject's kidnapping. We force chat to vote on which path we're taking. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, I demand participation. And they voted left. The gate is locked, so we have to worm our way around the offices to get through. There's a few interesting things to see, some glow-in-the-dark paint, a shotgun door trap, a jigsaw box with some supplies, you get it. Oh, and an unlootable desk. Yeah, they put the desk the wrong way and we can't search the drawers. Literally unplayable. Entering the security checkpoint, we dodge the mannequin arm and upright work light to get to work on that circuit puzzle. Heading through the security checkpoint, we get an update on Jeff, you remember Jeff, who has decided it's all our fault because we were doing our job as a cop and asking questions about the psychopath who kidnapped him. Thanks, Jeff. Now we have to solve a jigsaw puzzle while getting thrown under the bus. The subsequent hallway is more of the same. Sealed doors, flashlight, shotgun traps, but things get interesting when we head upstairs. A combination lock door is surrounded by 8 TVs playing a large stack of cash inside a blender on a loop. Harrowing. Behind us, at the end of the hall, is a first aid cabinet with a happy syringe. Yay! And around the corner is a chemistry station to make illegal shit. Double yay! There's also a precarious balance beam surrounded by all the razor wire in Texas. Across the beam, and we're back under Jigsaw's watchful eye. A Jigsaw subject appears to have failed their test, leaving behind a weaponized syringe. Behind his corpse is a lore drop on gamma knives. What? And across from him is a TV blasting, well, not much. But it probably did at one point. On the couch is a DSLR, and down the hall is the stairwell leading us back to the first floor. At the bottom of the stairs is a mannequin with a TV for a head playing a loop of Billy, a cinema. The stairwell gremlin directs us to descend into the basement for a secret message. Are you ready? If you peek through a hole in the wall, Jigsaw will loudly tell you went the wrong way and which room you actually need to go to. Man, no wonder Billy rides a tricycle. John won't let him off the training wheels. Back in the hallway, we are assaulted by a man in a Venus flytrap trap, but we dispatch him pretty easily. Jigsaw wants us to get to room 204, so we're getting to room 204. Ready? Let's go. Backtrack over every inch of everywhere we went on the 3rd floor and enter 204 into the combo lock. From there, pass by all of this to arrive at a guillotine wall obstacle. This will never not be insane to me. Who does this? With another message telling us where to go. Charge for work light, paint thinner, shotgun shell, upright work light, security camera, gear puzzle cabinet, and gears before heading downstairs. Along the way, say hi to the dead subject in the reverse bear trap. His name is Tim. Vic Tim. Poor guy. Arrive at the 2nd floor, don't receive health. Heal me. Damn it. And waltz into a trap room I like to call, I'm tired of this, Grandpa, or that's too dang bad. Tap has 10 seconds until the gas starts pumping in. To stop the gas, we must solve the pipe dial puzzle, which we totally knock out, much like the subject of this splody hand trap that we knock out while trying to enjoy the view of this other subject who has been strained in twain. Let me enjoy things. That handyman is my sworn enemy. Sworn enemy! There we go. All right, let's make sure we got everything in this room, including the tripwire shotgun we used to blast that guy. Everyone wave to Ratatouille trying to regain control of his vessel. Neat. Having retrieved our bulb, we now retrace our steps again and head all the way back down to the junction, this time taking the cafeteria path. Let's try to breeze through this because the cafeteria is wild. Tripwire shotgun trap at the doorway, 2 sealed doors in sight, and a guy in a shotgun collar desperate to end us. Luckily, we end him first and continue down the hall. A work table hides some gears, and a custom lock hides a gear puzzle box hiding a revolver. Ugh, comfort in all the right places. Oh, and a cabinet in the room has a health syringe. Lucky day! The end of the hall hides a tripwire shotgun trap, as well as a TV playing a test signal? Interesting. Billet! Down the hall, there's another shotgun door trap. A frickin' hatchet? Aight. The security checkpoint is blocked by a circuit puzzle. Solve that real quick. Pop the custom lock for a health syringe. And take in the on-screen combination we'll be needing up ahead. Thanks, Jigs. Okay, let's blast through this. Fusing cabinet, tripwire shotgun in hallway, work light in hallway, shotgun shells, 2 sealed doors and a whole mess of TVs saying fear guilt. Oh, and there's another trap room with some other poor schmuck. Looks like he was slowly lowered into fire and he had to beat the timer to be freed. He did not. Punch in the code and we can finally take a lunch break in the cafeteria, unless you're still in the bathroom. The cafeteria is mostly sealed doors and shotgun traps, but here's what a list looks like. Use that valve to cut off the steam. Run it again. Whereupon we are introduced to the freezer, which needs a key. Where's the key? Also, charge for tripwire shotgun trap. Son of a... Run it again! Turns out there's a secret second tripwire trap in the same kitchen. This is too many shotguns. This is too many shotguns. Down in the kitchen basement, we've got a friend. Bye, friend. Grab that sewing kit, and we arrive at what might be my favorite piece of this Hell House LLC yet. Behold! A contraption of nostalgic amusement turned oinky rotten. Or Baconator. While technically not a trap, this Jigsaw game is insane. John tells us to dig through the mess our life has become. Savage. And he's not wrong. We need to knock pigs off a conveyor of hooks into a grinder to fill a well with pig juice to float a key to the surface. Yeah. So, what we have is a box of bricks and a spotlight blasting a seemingly endless conveyor of hooks holding 5 pigs at a time, swinging past us. We smack the pigs with a brick, sending it into the combine harvester. From there, pumps push the pig juice into the nearby well until the key rises to the top. So this might be the first time I permit the game to do game stuff, because I'm pretty sure if we just stood here, there'd be an unlimited line of pigs marching past us awaiting the brick. We don't know if this system loops back on itself behind the wall either, so there's probably just a controlled number of carcasses getting loaded onto the hooks by a Jigsaw apprentice. Man, what a miserable internship that must be. Anyway, I'll charge for 25 pig carcasses here. And you know what? I think the asylum is where all the pig carcasses in Saw 3 came from. I think he had enough left over to just send to the Gideon plant. Ugh. As the game ends, charge for the shutter door and the single work light hanging over the scene. Ew. Well, at least we can go to the freezer now. Can't be any more pigs in the... Oh, come on! All right, I'll consider this the Frosty to the Baconator upstairs. Beyond the powered door and timer, this should be fairly familiar. It's another pig wall maze with a freezing special a la Saw 3. A lot of Saw 3 in this section. I count 56 pigs. Ugh. Resolving that, we're led back upstairs to some candles, our bulb in a box, and a powered door. And we're permitted to return to the theater projection room, but not without being accosted by a man with a bat. Upon arriving back at the theater, 3 TVs we missed give us the clues we need to complete our challenge. John Gamer confirmed. Plugging in the lights in the projection room reveals the code we need to unlock the theater proper, assuming we're intelligent enough to understand the puzzle. After learning our colors, we're given the code 831. Upon unlocking the door, we're greeted to a lighter, 9 candles, and the biggest display trap we've seen since Spiral. Apparently, when you escape Jigsaw prematurely, he turns you into a game show. I present to you, jesting enough for friends and adversaries, recovery depends on you. Or Jeffardy. It's late, let me have this. A large array of CRTs are wired together to display a matching game. There's some really cool shots of this puzzle from the dev catalog, but that doesn't change the fact that this puzzle is ridiculously much. The matching mechanism is reminiscent of the Wheel of Fortune TVs from the 90s and aughts, and I reckon the tech is the same. Now, Wheel of Fortune has never revealed exactly what that tech is, but based on these behind-the-scenes interviews with Vanna, we know that there's some sort of capacitive touch bar affixed to each TV that triggers a play function. That feed is then sent to the second TV, which checks for a match. Match all the correct symbols to free Jeff. Make incorrect guesses, and a spike is thrust through Jeff. Spikes are removed with subsequent correct matches. Once all the matches are made, Jeff's cuffs release him. Oh, and we also find out that Jeff's whole punishment was because he was a loner and stressed out by society, so he just stuck to himself and stayed home. We are all so There are 16 TVs showing off 2 different images depending on state, and here's where this setup differs from previous TV arrangements. This game can only function with a computer controlling feeds. Now, I'm not about to charge for 32 individual VHS players and tapes, regardless of how hilarious that would be. You wanna know why? Because he flashes Billy's face across all the monitors. All of them. No, this is definitely a computer. What's cool is that it's self-contained. What's less cool is that it's way way more expensive than just having 32 VHS players stacked on top of each other. So, saying it's a computer isn't, it isn't the Hot Wheels desktop that your dad bought your older brother before tossing you a speak and spell. It's a little bit more machine than that. Not a lot, but a little bit. So how much does your own CRT matching game cost? Well, you're gonna need some hardware, clearly. And a lot of that depends on whether Jigsaw is keeping that hardware local or only somewhat local. And I have theories about that I'll discuss later on, so continue sticking around through this with us. For now, I'll bill for the materials needed to make just this part work. And boy howdy, it ain't cheap. Approximately $15,000 in 2004. Look, if you want a thing to work, it's gonna cost. And now, the spikes and gears. We have 16 spikes that are individually not lethal. That's important. They're sharp enough to puncture a human body, but also tooled to operate on an incredibly large gear system. We've also got motorized wrist cuffs, very cool, and the whole propped up drilled out sheet metal wall thing. And we solved it. Congrats, Jeff, you're free. He's super appreciative. After saving Jeff, we're thrust into the hallway of the administration wing. Ahead of us, we've got a powered door, another pig carcass, what up? And 5 candles. A nice box holds a microcassette recorder where Jigsaw has turned a leaf and is actually very supportive and caring of our plight. Haha, kidding! It holds a cutscene of Pig Mask! Ah! He's so angry. The tape is actually Jigsaw waxing philosophic about, well, Jigsaw. A door opens to reveal a bit of a maze ahead of us with some familiar features. A shotgun shell, a stack of 7 TVs in a cage with a vice trap guy. Will we ever learn what ails you, vice trap guy? Apparently what ails you is us. The back of the room has some paint thinner, a box of bricks, some sealed doors. Stepping through the other side of the room gives us a flashlight, a fuse, and a water bottle. Oh, and more inmates who want to fight us. You know what? We've seen this all before. Let's just summarize. Upstairs, we get a cutscene of someone in some sick Jigsaw robes doing something at a chemistry station. Very cinema. We punch our way into an attic with some bottled water and 3 work lights strung up before plopping down a hole. Before approaching our next puzzle in Jigsaw's game. I call this tension rising. You're out from under his thumb soon. Or tryouts. Remember all those traps we haven't been making? Well, it's time to put those skills to use. Tap must face Pig Mask and fight him for the chance to be a new apprentice. Oh, no, wait, that's Saw the board game. Tap actually has to face Pig Mask and get a key from him. It feels like Pig Mask should be more dressed up for the occasion. Perhaps something like this tuxedo from the strategy guide. Yeah, sweet. The tape on the table explains the rules.
Use your surroundings to defend yourself. What will you do to live, detective?
This room is something of a staging room, designed to prepare us for the fight ahead, assuming we have any idea what we're doing. We've got some candles, a nice box, the aforementioned tape. There's also some gears for a gear puzzle box containing a baseball bat, 2 custom locks hiding 2 health syringes, and the powered door when we leave. There's also another custom lock with holding a workbench where we can make some bombs. Sucks for that guy. The next area is pretty expansive. We've got a room that we're starting out in, then a circle of rooms surrounding a rather large courtyard containing an electrified cage. That seems standard. Traps with electricity are really fun because they are very, very flashy, but very, very cheap. A switch, some car batteries, even just wiring it up into the local grid. We saw Pig Mask fry that subject, and we get the impression that that's where we need to pen him in. In this room, there's also a pillar of televisions, that's cool, as well as some paint thinner and an upright work light on its side. There's another shotgun shell and a nurse card, but our goal now is to beat down that wall and squeeze through a narrow hallway. We almost get assaulted by an unseen Jigsaw subject, but we're too cool for his school. Sliding into the next room, we're finally in the challenge ring. Now, what we're supposed to do is arm traps, slowly wear down Pig Mask, then lure him into the electric cage for the final act of this tete-a-tete. Instead, we get a little experimental and find out there's entirely new combat mechanics involved with this fight for the first and last time ever. Yeah, our old method of smack enemy to death doesn't work as intended here, unfortunately. Finally, after using some traps and our single brain cell and environmental storytelling, we disable the pig-headed adversary. The rest of this area held a lot of opportunities to wear down Piggy Boy. a TV for motivation, some shotgun traps, another baseball bat. But there's also a scenario where Pigmask captures us and throws us into timeout. This room we only spot because of the big honkin' timer on the wall, but essentially the objective in there is to unlock the cabinet that contains a set of gears, use those gears to unlock the jigsaw box, accessing the coupler to solve the circuit puzzle. There's also a few motivational pipe bombs nearby just in case we need it. But we're Super Cop! We don't need no timeout! No retirement for us! We're off to the library to get a reading on! Why are there so many TVs staring at us? Bootleg Billy pops on screen to chastise us for surviving, thanks for the moral judgment, William Puppet, before striking us with a gas valve puzzle. There's also a sealed door and a syringe. Neat. The powered door opens to compel us forward, and we step into a room that has to be a fire hazard. This room will be our diverging paths for the end of the game. The tape confirms this.
You are almost there, Detective. This chapter of my story ends now. What you have been seeking lies right through this door. I am waiting.
Also in the strategy guide, this is where the thirst trap Pigmask comes into play. Can we just stop and admire that again? Yeah. Anyway, our choice requires a key, so we have to go hunting for it in the library. Finally, Jigsaw's command center. Or is it? Candles light the room. A wall of televisions flank a balcony where a robed figure stands above us. Billy the goddamn puppet watches as the cloaked figure approaches us. In a flash, the TVs light up and a recording plays, instructing our next moves. A door across the room opens. This next room is a lot. Many layers, some familiar sights, all scaled up in a way that challenges every inch of our being. The pinnacle of a Jigsaw game, a true experience to test one's will to live. There can be only one way to describe this descent into hell. Beckoning, intimidating, a gauntlet of masochism begets absolute clarity. Or Big Mac. As soon as we enter the hallway, a TV teaches us the meaning of haste, and some bombs emphasize it further. A timer pops up to let us know we have 10 minutes to find that key. In the next hallway, there's more bombs and timers. The next room has our cloaked figure standing amidst, Jesus, what is that? 6 or 7 bombs and a timer? This room is full of Jigsaw subjects throwing stuff at us. Fighting each other, it's a mess. I count 2 timers, 7 pipe bombs, 3, 4 subjects? One of which is in a steel box trap, a bunch of Molotovs, 4 spotlights, and a powered door that is our exit. Our objective is to get to that central tower in the room in order to progress, which is mostly just navigating the maze of scaffolding and not getting set on fire. In the next hallway, it's pretty bare. Sealed door, timer, bomb, but ahead is pretty fun. And by fun, I mean electrified water with a shit ton of balance beams. Cross the beams, turn the valve, clear to go. 2 timers, 2 TVs with the full Monty, a single work light, 5 bombs. Easy peasy. Give me a challenge. Now, let's try that again. Okay, next up we have, oh my god, 27 TVs? Come on, man. We're gonna talk about this before all is said and done. But don't worry, because we're not done. We might have our key, but we still have to escape through a very toxic room. 3 timers, 7 bombs, 1 water bottle, a gas dispersal system, a pipe puzzle, some gears, a coupler, and a big old circuit puzzle to unlock the door. The final hallway has 2 timers and 6 bombs, but we're in the clear. It's time to choose our path. Truth or freedom? I'm gonna let you in on a secret. The freedom ending is a video of Billy. So instead, let's relentlessly pursue truth. We've come so far. We are tasked with pursuing the shadowy figure fleeing from us. Razor wire lines the hallways as we sprint ahead, our bare feet slapping on the asbestos floor. TVs taunt us as we ascend the ladders towards our fate. More razor wire, some dead Jigsaw subjects, a hallway of more razor wire and TVs, and oh my god, it's Billy the Puppet! And he's riding away! Get him! Tack on 1 more syringe from Feel Good Incorporated and we arrive at the little base station for Jigsaw's whole operation. We even see that shadowy figure hobble away. Get back here, coward! You've a debt to pay! The tables are covered in trap materials, a reverse bear trap, surveillance photos, a voltmeter, a very nice box. You know, for the central point of an evil lair, this is actually pretty despair. But the hallways continue. Past the power door, we are offered another gearbox puzzle cabinet holding back a revolver. That sweet, sweet, trustworthy revolver. You know what? We're taking that home with us. Gotta get a souvenir, right? No, we're too dumb. No gun for us. We really should have grabbed that gun though, because a Jigsaw subject starts beating us. Ow, ow, ow! Taste these hands, criminal! We race through the doors, pick the lock, and begin to beat down the door being held shut by our assailant. Overpowering the figure, we proceed to curb stomp their head into the roof. Ha! Take that? A tape falls from the figure's hands. Oh.
Dude, just broke your spine.
If you were hearing this,
What?
I'd do a test.
What?
You have forgiven Tab, the man responsible for your husband's death, the man you obsessed over as your life fell into pieces.
The figure in the hood is Melissa, Singh's wife. She forgave us, but in order to save her family, she had to defeat us. This game has been as much ours as hers. She crawls for the door, but it's not her son. It's Billy, cackling over her dead body, her final trap revealed, killed in desperate submission. Or kids. I'm still jamming MGMT, and you can't stop me. The truth of Tap's obsession breaks him. He is forever trapped by Jigsaw, forever locked into that game. But that means that nerve center in the library wasn't Jigsaw's, it was Melissa's. She's been operating the games in the asylum for most of the night. So where's Jigsaw been? And to answer that, we have to discuss all those cameras. So you'll notice that for most of these TVs throughout the asylum, I've been charging a pretty simple arrangement. TV, VCR, VHS tape. This is Jigsaw's typical setup. However, the scale of this broadcasting experience begs reconsidering, especially when we have yet to see a surveillance room. There are 58 security cameras pointed at various places throughout the asylum, broadcasting through 263 televisions. Now, could Jigsaw be pumping his footage through 263 VCRs? Sure, he could, and that would cost a little less than $12,000. But that's not what's happening. No, it's much bigger than that. You see, running around and pressing play on up to 27 TVs at a time is, well, ridiculous. Plus, when you think about Jeff's stage play, it's just unfeasible. However, let's backtrack a bit. Or rather, let's backtrack by looking ahead. Saw the video game takes place before Saw 2. How do we know? Because this is where John tests Obby for the first time. Obby's survival here makes him a semi-accomplice in that film. Also in that film, we saw John's gamer rage cage, which, as you'll recall, is full of broadcast equipment, most of it for captioning, but still a little over $14,000 in broadcast equipment. And that's when the pieces came together. How else would he be able to remotely control so many doors, cameras, tapes, and feeds? How can he replicate images across multiple monitors or span images across several stacked monitors with such speed? John Kramer, Jigsaw, is sitting in a broadcast production control room truck outside the asylum. A monstrous weave of cables spreading out across the grounds to reach every camera, every TV, every door. He is in control of every inch of that building. But that means we need to talk cost. Because what we're talking about is a mobile TV studio. We're talking about enough consoles to view and control nearly 60 cameras over 250 monitors. This would potentially be a double expanding trailer that will require a very powerful video switcher for handling all those signals, a router for distributing those signals, dozens of camera control units, recorders for all the trap setup scenes, an audio mixer for all of Jigsaw's over-the-air messages, the ability to monitor all of those feeds to ensure signal is retained, not to mention enough power to run all of this, and thousands upon thousands of feet of coaxial and triaxial cable to run from all these cameras and monitors. Now, back all of that up to the year of our puppet lord 2004, and we're looking at upwards of $2.5 million to $5 million, potentially even more. I'm starting to wish he had just run around the building pressing play on every VCR. And yeah, I'm accommodating a price adjustment for what we've calculated so far. It barely nudges the needle. Now, I could assume that Jigsaw would try to go used as often as possible with these parts and pieces. But even with that estimate, the lowest I can go is $2.5 million for that operating theater. So let's tally it up. After kidnapping over 100 people, wiring up 58 cameras, broadcasting to 263 TVs, 10 reverse bear traps, 7 Venus flytraps, nearly 100 powered doors, 40 shotguns of various lengths, 21 microcassette players, 150 bombs, 10 shotgun collars, 54 health syringes, and 6 revolvers, Jigsaw spent approximately $2,716,892.05 in 2004. Adjusting for inflation, that's approximately $4,599,573.11 in 2025. Do you feel proud, John? Do you feel like you really proved your point, John? I hope so. I truly hope so. Jigsaw's cheapest trap in the asylum was, oh look, a maze, at $575.99. What a bargain. His most expensive trap was Dragonforce at $17,094.57, primarily due to its reliance on a lot of very full open barrels of gasoline. That is not economical. Let's take a look at the graphs. Oh, well, if we take a look at Jigsaw's expenses, you can see the pixels that are the budgets for the previous films and the absolute colossal behemoth that is the budget for Saw the video game. Joy. John has officially spent $3.2 million on trapping citizens of Metro City, very nearly $5.5 million when adjusting for inflation. Taking a look at Jigsaw's expenses over time, 2004 was a great year for hardware stores and pawn shops. John Kramer single-handedly saving the junkyard upcycling business. Comparing John's input into the franchise with his apprentices and, well, the Pac-Man's jaws are beginning to close. Actually, this looks like an upside-down chain shop. Haha, neat. Also, Gordon doesn't even have pixels on this chart anymore. We did have an unnamed apprentice running around in this game, and we killed them, but we left their body masked and mangled. I don't think they bankrolled this in any way, but without knowing who they were, who can say? Taking a look at the franchise as a whole, my God. We're at $3.6 million running total, and over $6 million adjusted for inflation. I really hope they make another video game. You know, rumor has it the studio behind Until Dawn is vying for the property. We just finished streaming that game on the channel, so look forward to a video on that soon. Now, we're really close to determining if John can foot the bill, because there's still one more property to cover. The cursed game of everyone's bane, the nightmare that is Saw 2: Flesh and Blood. Ugh. But until then, what do you think? Do you think John has gone too far? Or do you think there's still room left in the budget? Let me know down below. I want to give a huge thank you to my wife, Annalise, for editing this monster of a video. I am so sorry. Officially our longest one, and one hell of a project. We've both put in close to 80 hours each on research, editing, rewrites, you name it. This channel is half our income and most of our time, but with a partner like her and a community like you, we're confident with where we're headed. We stream the Saw games for charity, and as of the end of Saw 1, we raised $1,820 for Thankmas, putting money towards mental health awareness and suicide prevention resources. This community, you, right now, are incredible for that. Speaking of, we're close to 46,000 subs at the time of writing this script, and I want to thank a few special people in that community. These are our patrons and YouTube members. Your support helps us through those months when YouTube decides you don't need to see a video about Ghostbusters or Roger Rabbit. Thank you to each and every one of you for believing in us and supporting us. Extra special shout out to Elk Skull the Druid for becoming a member of the Feet tier. No feet pics with that tier yet, but I do shout out your internet name for all to hear. Also, all members of the Tiger tier and Feet tier get to vote on what our community events are. If you're interested, there's links below. If you've made it this far and discover you still haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It helps us out a lot and brings us one step closer to getting a really neat plaque. I can put it on a wall. How cool is that? Next on the docket is a big one. Squid Game! Hopefully we'll be getting that out in time for season 3. As always, thank you so much. And remember, I'm here to make stuff. If you're here to watch, thanks.